To access the P-Card Reviewer screen, log into the PIC portal and click on the Prism link. From the home page, click on your P-Card responsibility. It will start with PC. Click Transactions and then Transaction Review. If you are the reviewer of one card, the Transaction Review screen will open for that card holder. If you review multiple cards, a list of the cardholder names will appear. Select the person whose card you would like to review, then select the GL period or month and click Show Transactions. The P-Card transactions for that month will display. You will see the transaction date, the vendor name, the redistribution status of the transaction, and the transaction total. In this screen, notice that the redistribution status of the first 4 transactions is new, which means they have not been reviewed yet for redistribution, and the 5th one is approved for redistribution. None of these 5 transactions have been reviewed yet to certify that they are legitimate business expenses. Some of these examples are for charges that are now being placed on travel cards, so I will scroll down to look at more applicable transactions. Click the transaction line that you want to review. In this example, the vendor is Braintree Scientific. The transaction is also new for redistribution, and the dollar amount is $104. The cardholder will need to provide the monthly reviewer with copies of their logs or receipts so the reviewer can identify what was purchased. To certify that the charge is a legitimate business expense, click the Reviewed checkbox and then click Save. A message will appear reminding you that by clicking the Review checkbox, you are certifying that the expense is a legitimate business expense and receipts have been reviewed when full transaction line detail has not been provided by the system. In the next example, we are looking at a transaction from Integrated DNA Technologies. Some vendors are able to provide transaction line detail. Right now, we see transaction line detail from about 50 to 60% of P-Card vendors. In this example, we see that DNA strands were ordered and the cost per unit. Having line detail helps to identify what was purchased. To certify review of the transaction, click the Review checkbox and click Save. Click OK to respond to the certification message. In this next example, notice the transaction status is approved for redistribution. The redistribution information can be seen in the transaction line detail and distribution detail areas. Clicking on the box at the beginning of the transaction line will open the transaction to view additional redistribution details, or if it hasn't been done yet, to do the redistribution. As a monthly reviewer, you may or may not be responsible for P-Card redistributions. Separate hands-on application training is held monthly on how to redistribute P-Card charges. The status of approved means this transaction has been approved for redistribution. When done viewing or entering a redistribution, close the transaction window. Click the Review checkbox, click Save, and respond OK to the certification message. If there is a charge that you do not want to certify as a legitimate business expense, possibly because it cannot be identified or it is recognized as a fraudulent charge, click the checkbox at the beginning of the transaction line. Then click the More button and enter a comment. For unidentifiable or suspicious charges, contact the P-Card administrator for assistance in reconciling the issue. Also, complete the form on the back of the monthly P-Card statement and submit to PNC Bank to get their assistance. Continue through this process to review remaining charges. To save time, you can wait to click Save until you have reviewed multiple transactions. If you want to select another card to review, click on Tools, select a new P-Card title. Enter a GL period and click Show Transactions. Close out of the transaction review screen when you have finished. A review report is available in the application. From the Navigator window, click on Reports and then Run. At the Submit a New Request window, click OK. Click on the List of Values to bring up a listing of available reports. Select the report titled Transactions for Review, either in the report format or the file format if you want to export the data to another application. Click OK. Enter a start and end date for the period you are reporting on. Notice the format for entering dates. In the Account Title field, enter the name of the cardholder. Then click OK. In the Reviewed Flag field, indicate whether you want to report on transactions that were reviewed or not. Then click OK. Click Submit. The Request window opens where you can see the status of the report as it is running. Click on Refresh Data until it completes. Click View Output to view the report. Stretch open the Report window. This report is showing us all reviewed transactions for the specified time period. To print the report, click on Tools, Copy File to copy the output to your default browser. From there, you can print. Close the report windows when you are done. You are returned back to the Navigator window.